Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have a moment of silent prayer? Amen. Okay, it is Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. We're in the Municipal Center. Can I have the roll call, please?
Yes, Scott Murphy.
Here.
Susan Webster is here. Elizabeth Skinner.
Here.
Mary Lynn Hickey.
Here.
Here, okay. Rebecca McLeod.
Here.
Greg Sheen.
Here.
David O'Connell.
Here.
Okay, we have a full council this evening.
Can I have the review of the minutes of September 3rd, 2024? And I'll take a common consent. We'll make any additions or corrections that need to be made if there need to be. Everything looked good to me. Everybody else okay? Good, everybody? Common consent? Okay. All right. This is how this is going to work this evening. We are taping this on YouTube, so we'll have to have you guys, when you address the council, to please speak up, give your name, and speak up as loud as you can so that we hopefully will be able to get it on the YouTube video. We're going to bring the people that are before council forward, and then after I do that, then we're going to open up the floor 3 minutes. And everybody that wants to talk, we're going to be timing it. Rebecca's going to time. Once your 3 minutes is up, that's it. We're done. And we move on to the next person. Okay? Because we got a lot of people in here, obviously. We need to get stuff addressed. So if I give a bunch of time, we're going to be in here till midnight. Okay?
The other thing, just to add to that, is that if someone else has already said what you're saying, kind of be judicious about your comments. You can say what you want to say, but if it's a repeated thing, just keep in mind.
All right. So we're going to bring Gail Porter forward so that she doesn't have to sit here all this time.
Where do you want me?
You could be right there.
Okay. I'm Gail Potter. I'm the regent of the local DAR chapter. And today is Constitution Day. And I have a very quick, about a minute and a half, of a little bit of information you might not have known. It was just 20 years ago that Congress passed that this is Constitution Day on September 17th. The Constitution was written by some delegates back in 1787. They agreed on it, what it was, on the 15th, but then they had to give it to somebody to actually write it out in handwriting, and that took 2 days, and they paid them $30 to transcribe this 4,500 word document. So they officially signed it on September 17th, not the 15th when it was adopted. But what I want to point out is what happened to that Constitution. And this is the rest of the story. It's like 2 paragraphs. Brand new governments don't have archives. So the 4-page document was given to the State Department. It moved around with the rest of the federal government, went from Philadelphia to New York, back to Philadelphia, then to Washington, D.C. In 1921, President Harding signed an executive order transferring the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence to the Library of Congress. And they went on display in 1924. This is like 150 years later. When the National Archives was built in 1934, everyone thought they would be moved over there. Oh, no, not till 1952, when Eisenhower took the presidency, did they move. Okay, and they've been there ever since. And if you go down there to the archives, they're in a vault, and every night it's lowered down in the ground to a bomb shelter thing. So if anything happens to Washington, D.C., the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are going to be safe. And our Constitution is the longest and oldest Constitution of any country in the world. And it's a model for many other countries. So we're here tonight to get a proclamation from the mayor and the city council to recognize this as Constitution Day. And you have a proclamation
Yes.
someplace
We
there.
have it here. You all have it in your packets. I don't know if you want to read it all or if you,
Well, you might want to read the first paragraph.
Okay.
You've got
all right.
people waiting.
First paragraph is, whereas September 17th, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Congressional Convention. Okay? So that's what we're here for today.
I make a motion that we pass the proclamation as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pass the proclamation as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes. And here is the signed copy.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. We need to have,
I have to have a picture taken.
We got the mayor in this.
Okay, the mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and you get this back.
You can have that.
Oh, this is mine.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Thank
suitable
you.
for framing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
all right. Now, as I get down to the nitty gritty here. Next person is Melissa.
Good evening, as council knows, and a lot of you know, I'm Melissa Schad, and I'm representing the Town of Bath Community Co-op Garden. It's been a while since we've come to visit, to give you guys an update. So we started out, we've got a core group of workers, both adults and children, that are volunteering there in the garden. We've cleaned up the garden, we've removed the discarded plum tree. We've planted a bunch of different vegetables, had a decent yield, even though, we've survived the drought. We've tried some different pest management ideas. We've got a couple other ideas for that up our sleeves. We've got weeding and mowing that's been done basically on a schedule. The garden has received donations of mulch, some decorative hardscaping for brick, and decor, in addition to the brick that we've had coming in from the town. We've had a compost area that's been set up and maintained. We've fed not only the workers' families, we've donated food, both whole vegetables as well as prepared foods down to Hope House. The community picnic enjoyed some of the fruits of the garden, 2 times now actually. And we've also fed various families around town with produce from the garden. We've provided education to several of the early Head Start families in the area, as well as their workers and several church groups. We've had volunteers come from the Hope House. We've had volunteers just show up out of the blue, come and wander and want to help us with the garden. We are actually having a volunteer work day on October 5th from 2 to 4 p.m. We're going to be providing water and snacks. Bring your gloves and a good humor. So, we've conducted tours for some of the council members, different people around town. Hey, we've got a garden. Let's see what it's about. Can we come see? Can we come work? We've had people from out of state come in and volunteer and do some work here too. So I've been tasked with asking the council to think about letting us have the garden again to continue for next year before we go ahead and start to implement any more, growing of the growing areas, doing some more beds in there, doing some hardscaping, getting some better path for walkability around as well.
Is your committee willing to keep going?
Yes, we certainly are. And we've actually got another gal who just moved up from Florida that's interested in coming to check and see what we're all about.
I make a motion that we continue with the agreement that we set up with the community garden volunteers for 2025.
Second.
I have a motion, a second on the floor to continue with the community garden volunteers and what they've done this year. and continuing into 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. You got it for next year.
Congratulations,
Appreciate
Melissa.
it. Enjoy your tomatoes.
All right. And last but not least, we have Beth.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
You're on there, so
Okay.
you have the floor.
All right. Well, I want to wish everybody a happy Constitution Day today. My name is Beth Lechtemeier. I own Needed Therapy here in Bath. In the August 28th issue of the Morgan Messenger, I learned that an ordinance directly affecting my business has been the topic of discussion at the town level for the past month. For anyone unfamiliar, the article quotes the co-founder and board member of West Virginia Pride in Berkeley Springs asked the Bath Town Council on August 20th to consider an ordinance to protect the rights of the Pride community from discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodation. After reading this article, I started asking various leaders in town if I could have a copy of the actual ordinance being presented. To this day, it has not been made available to me. To my knowledge, the ordinance has not been posted on any town websites or printed in the Morgan Messenger. So why is this not being shared? Where is the transparency? I find it troubling that the town council has had this information for almost a month and that the ordinance committee is meeting again this Thursday about proceeding further, yet the ordinance has not been shared, especially with those directly impacted. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act already protects the rights of all individuals, including members of Pride, regardless of the size of the business. This law forbids sexual orientation and gender identification discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment and any term or condition of employment. So why is there a need for another law when the rights being sought are already protected? I am not aware of any discrimination of the Pride community that has occurred here in Bath. I have, however, seen our town treating this community very well. From celebrations into the park to events at various businesses around town, they have a significant presence here in Bath. I know of many establishments that employ them, and our own Travel Berkeley Springs has added the Pride Rainbow and the All Are Welcome Here slogan on their logo. For the record, I pose no ill will towards the Pride community. In fact, there is a member of this community that lives here and is a licensed massage therapist. I have approached her to come and work with me on more than one occasion. She tells me her hands need a break, but she will let me know if she gets interested in getting back in the field. I would hire her in a heartbeat, not because of who she chooses to share a life with, but because of her licensed qualifications and honed advanced skills. Is there really a problem with discrimination of Pride members here in Bath? Or is a problem being created to pass an ordinance? What additional rights are the Pride groups seeking that they do not already have? What additional rules, restrictions, and liabilities will be put in place that are going to ensure more non-discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation? How will this affect our business hirings of new employees, as well as our daily business decisions? Needed Therapy provides therapeutic, one-on-one, often behind closed-door services, where our clients are at various levels of undress, depending on the treatment. As therapists, we are in vulnerable position, and occasionally threats do occur. It is well known that our industry brings these vulnerabilities with it. This is why all the licensing and certification boards that regulate us also protect our right to end, refuse any session for any reason at our own discretion. This is a safety measure in place for us and one we heavily rely on. Any ordinance that would restrict or influence our ability to continue to make our own judgments places us in greater danger and makes us more vulnerable than we already are. There are other liability concerns regarding hiring. There is currently an open position available at Needed Therapy. employee licensure, advanced training, and skill are required to perform the work that we conduct there. Our higher qualifications at Needed Therapy are what sets us apart. If this ordinance places any restriction or influence on how I hire, it has the potential to change the very nature of Needed Therapy. It also risks reverse discrimination by other applicants. Discrimination works both ways. Lastly, it creates new liabilities with our clients. For example, should a hire be based on an ordinance, not skill, and the client gets injured, I become the responsible party. Scott, Susan, Elizabeth, Mary Lynn, Rebecca, Greg, and David, are each of you willing to sign a prepared legal document that places these and all liabilities that may come up with this ordinance, both fiscal and punitive, on yourselves individually or as the council as a whole? Does anyone want to answer that?
I'd like to comment on something else. Are you finished?
No.
Okay,
If you want to wait till the end.
okay, fine.
Okay.
So do you-
So since no one wanted to answer that specific question, if you individually will take liability or if the council as a whole will be. For those who are not willing, why would you consider this for every business owner in Bath, even for a day, if you wouldn't want this liability yourself? For those willing, there's still the issue regarding our own civil rights as individuals and business owners. No one person or entity's rights supersede my own. As a business owner, I have the civil right to run a business free from government interference. Business decisions made under the control of government undermines our freedom to run our companies and serve our customers. I have the civil right to operate without fear of lawsuit abuse. For small businesses, one frivolous lawsuit can mean bankruptcy. This ordinance opens up many new pathways to litigation. I have a civil right to take a risk. Our free enterprise system is what drives people like me to start businesses in the first place. An ordinance like the one being considered makes me reconsider my location within Bath town limits. Will Bath become a place where it isn't worth the risk of doing business here? In closing, if there is a motion to proceed on the passage of this ordinance, those who vote yes will be doing so in the violation of the civil rights of every business owner in the town of Bath. It creates the potential of unfair burdens, additional liabilities, further restrictions, and it can very well place us in more vulnerable and thus dangerous situations. And I cannot stress this enough. I will not be able to be present at the ordinance committee meeting this coming Thursday. However, the outcome of that meeting and all individual votes and motions made regarding this ordinance will be noted. For those that move forward with the ordinance, it is well within my and all our business as individually rights to bring this to court. It is with all due respect I remain Beth Luchtmeyer, owner of Needed Therapy.
I do want to comment on the basic principle of posting the ordinance. I asked about having it posted because I did, and I have fought on council, as you recall, other council members with other ordinances to post them. I was told that because it was presented to council, this is not an organic, this didn't come from us, it came from the outside. And since it came from the outside, it hasn't been posted yet. I am highly in favor of getting this ordinance out there and having it in anyone's hands that want to see it, because
Absolutely.
it's the absolute right thing to do.
Especially
And so-
those that are very impacted by this, to not even be able to be allowed to see what is being presented and
Absolutely.
about to be voted on regarding our own businesses.
Right.
No, it's not about to be voted on. Absolutely not.
Okay,
You know, it's with our attorney.
okay,
It just foments speculation. What is really in it is it worse than nothing. Is it better than, it just.
Right.
So actually having it, you all are smart people. You can read it. You
Right,
can
I would
figure it out.
very much
You can-
appreciate
You can figure it out.
having it made available. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely.
And to answer your question, what have we been doing in that timeframe? As being the chairman of the ordinance committee, I've contacted 16 municipalities that have passed the ordinance. I've read 16 ordinances, talked to 4 attorneys, various West Virginia legislators, clinical psychologists, and a number of other folks, just to get a better idea and understanding of both sides of this argument. Now that we're all friends here, I mean, this is to be expected that everyone will be here, and it's a sensitive issue, it's an emotionally charged issue, but we have to look at the facts and the outcomes, and we aren't ready to vote on it, but we're doing our due diligence on it first and foremost before we dove into it and made an emotional decision.
So why were the business owners included in these conversations?
Because we're at the point right now that we are investigating
the law and
to
what's
make sure that
involved in
we got all our ducks in a row
before it's
to
moved.
present it to you all.
Okay,
Okay?
It's too early.
So, this is something that is not being taken lightly by this council. I can tell you that right now.
And how does one ordinance compare to another? How does
Right.
and all 16 are uniquely different. They're similar in some ways, in other ways they're uniquely different based on the cities themselves.
And
Yeah,
bear in
because-
mind, 16 have passed it out of 232 municipalities in the state.
Correct.
So this is not a wave, I would say.
How many applying?
That I don't know. We
Two.
can't open it up for general discussion yet. Ms. Meyer was on the agenda. So I'm gonna make a motion when you're finished speaking, but I think your comments are.
yes, I've said my piece.
You said, all you said your piece.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes, yes.
May I request, just like you want to see the ordinance, can you give us your written document? I think it was well
Sure.
prepared.
Very well.
Feel free to quote me.
Very well.
Very well prepared.
At the very
Thank you.
beginning, I did put that, I didn't say this, so I want to. Because the DAR member was here giving her speech. I did say this part, that Constitution Week is celebrated annually in the United States, the week of September 17th to the 23rd. So happy Constitution Week, everybody.
Yes.
Okay, Susan, go on with your motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion, Mayor, that we bring forward on the agenda, public comment that we have at the end of the town council meetings usually. I make a motion that we bring it forward so that I'm sure that. I would like to wrap this subject up. I'd like to.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hold on, this is the council making a motion. We can't take that during the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the floor, like I said in the beginning. You're gonna get 3 minutes because you're not on the agenda like Beth was. So that's why she got to speak as long as she did. So you have 3 minutes. And Rebecca here is going to time you. When that 3 minutes ding, ding, dings, it's over. I do want to reiterate, the council is looking at this very, very closely. There is so much to this thing right now that we have it with our attorney. We want to make sure that we make the proper decision. I also want to say that this has come up several times during mine and Susan's tender and Elizabeth's, and we turned it down. So, but like I said, we want to do our due diligence for our people in this community so that we have the facts before we go spurting stuff out. Okay? So
Well, I was just gonna say, if we're paying an attorney to review it, we don't spend money frivolously around here. It is, something that is being taken seriously, so we understand.
okay, so we're going to start on this front pew. Do any of you all want to speak to council? You have the floor for 3 minutes.
Well, I wasn't prepared to speak. My name
Okay.
is Chantel, Huffman Eye and Total Image Salon out 522. My salon, when I first purchased it, was in the town of Bath. The whole time I was in town of Bath, I've never been to a town council meeting or any issues. I love being in the town of Bath. I love Morgan County. I love where I'm located at now. And I just think that if this ordinance were passed, you're going to drive businesses out of town to come out where I'm located at. Then what is it going to do to the town?
Absolutely.
And to me, the town has enough dealings going on. It doesn't need to be hurt by businesses closing up and moving out to the south end of the county where I'm located. And I have been to Beth's salon. She has a top-notch salon as well as I do. And I just don't think it needs to be a passed ordinance. I think it would hurt the town.
Duly noted.
That's all I gotta say, because I was not prepared to speak.
That's fine. You did great. All right. Anybody else on the front pew? Okay. We're going to start down this side right here. This lady sitting in the chair. Do you have anything to say about this?
No.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to go to the second pew. Curtis?
First of all, glad to see all the participation. Berkeley Springs has an interesting heritage. I remember my mom saying when she first came here with the KKK parades coming down through Main Street. So we've got an interesting, colorful past. My question was, why do we need this? Was there some incident or incidences that has caused this community? I went on the Pride Facebook page and says this Berkeley Springs is a welcoming to the LGBTQ community. So if we're welcoming, what do we need the ordinance for? If there's been an incident, I would like to know because, you know, as a man of God, we're here to protect everyone. And I wanted to bring up the fact that if there has been incidences, we've had them at our own Catholic church. We've had cross-dressers come in our church, open carrying weapons, threatening some of our parishioners. And we don't ask for protection or ordinances. When the Roe versus Wade decision came back, regardless of what your feeling on that, our church had nothing to do with it. But the FBI from Pittsburgh called our bishop and told us to be on high alert because our church was being targeted by outside influences. We actually did have one Catholic church in Hinton burnt down. And all we do as a church group is, you know, we help with the food pantry. We St. Vincent de Paul Society. We help people with electric bills and other needs that they have. So we're not asking for protection. I just don't understand what the impetus is behind this, because we've already got laws in effect that protect the LGBTQ community. Plus, Berkeley Springs has been for years very welcoming, and myself included. And that's all. I think the open discussion is good. I think she did a great job, and happy Constitution Week.
All right, next in the lineup. You want to speak to us? Anybody in the second pew?
I can just say, without speaking about the gist of the ordinance itself, the process must have some holes in it. If somebody asked for the text that you are reading, that you are discussing, that you are sending to your lawyers, that should be available to her. That becomes more of a public document right there. And I think anybody not in town or out of town has validity in asking for what that text is. That is now before you. It's not a secret document.
It's not before us.
You have submitted it to your lawyers. It's your
talking to our
paper.
attorney. Yes, ma'am.
It came from you to your lawyer.
It didn't come from us. It came from an outside entity.
It went through you because I know you had a committee meeting about it. Don't quibble about that. In fact, you're making my point, is that the process is not very clear. And I think if somebody asks for the document, you should be able to, if you don't want to answer, which I know you don't really like to do, find some side angle way for her to get her or anyone who lives here, works here, plays here, dies here, to read the document that is under consideration.
Mayor, I make a motion that the ordinance be posted on the Town of Bath website.
Second. I have a motion, second on the floor to post this ordinance on the town website for anybody that wants to look at it. Any discussion?
Yes. I think it should be made clear that this is not an ordinance that the ordinance committee is proposing.
Right.
It is presented to the ordinance committee as it's current.
Yes, I agree.
That was it. I'm sorry.
We've got an ordinance here on.
We have a motion on.
We have a motion. We can't
This
take
will help you guys.
discussion.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Scott. Okay, any more discussion?
Who was the second on that?
Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It will be posted on the website so everybody can see it.
Oh my God,
Let me clarify something.
who's buying me a drink?
That ordinance was an example.
All right,
That
What's
was
that?
never go, that was an
that,
example.
hold on, we'll get to you. We got to have a process here. We have got probably 25 people in this room, okay? Next in line.
My name's Tom. I'm a local business owner in this town, and I'm also here about the ordinance, obviously. And I have spoken with my friend Scott, and it is my understanding that his intention of bringing this ordinance here is to bring more travelers this way. I feel like that sounds like something for Travel Berkeley Springs and not a law for a small business, for one. For two, after speaking with Miss Lisa here and Scott, this isn't even the right wording. We're not finished even putting this thing together yet. And I don't feel like this is even put together yet, if I'm not mistaken. And I would like to know if that's actually the truth. That sound like it is.
Don't leave me out of this.
Well, this is what I had the conversation with Lisa beforehand. She doesn't have to respond now. And also with Scott, that this is not the final draft. If I'm not mistaken, for one. For two, I would like some time after we do have the final draft to make sure I can talk to all my neighbors that are also small business owners before we have a chance to vote on something of that nature. And that's all I've got to say. And will we have an ample time, 30, 90
Absolutely.
days?
You'll
90
have
days would
more
probably
than
be
ample time. It's
beautiful.
with our attorney right now,
Beautiful.
and once it comes back to us, we'll put meetings together for everybody. We'll try not to do it during a major town council meeting.
Yep.
Maybe we can call a special meeting, because if we get this many people in here, we can have a special meeting on it and get everything aired out.
Thank you.
Okay?
What
Your phone,
happens
your phone.
when
Thank you.
things aren't posted like this? I understand that it wasn't ours and it's not a final draft and all this stuff. But what starts is this intense speculation that just foments rumors and a lot of things that are undesirable, no matter what side you're on. So that's why I'm in favor.
Okay. It's gonna be on the website, so that'll cure that. Okay, let's move back, Pete. Okay. Next in line.
Oh, it's like you knew. So some of you know me, some of you don't. When I came into town as a visitor because my son was attending the school here, we decided to move here because I got to meet a lot of the small business owners and I got to know who they were. And I fell in love with the town and I fell in love with the openness and with the familiarity that people had and that kindness that I saw. What you just said, that you had denied it multiple times, I didn't feel kindness from that. What I'm hearing from the people who are opposed to it, it's fear because they don't understand it. So I love that it's being put out there for people to read it and for people to understand. I have had a chance to look at it. I don't see it negatively impacting any of the businesses. In my business, because I have the tattoo shop and I help to run the farmer's market, I get to know people. A tattoo chair is a therapy chair. They come, they sit down, they spill everything. And the amount of people that we get that are tourists that come back regularly because they see that the town is open, that the town is kind, that the town promotes pride, that they don't have that stigma that's expected from a town in West Virginia, that does so much to benefit this town.
Therefore,
Therefore, that we make it available to people that we do promote this, that people, when they want to see something, that they can see it, and that the town continue that quirky, fun, unique, loving kindness. That's what makes this town special. You can see hatred and bigotry and racism and everything else everywhere else that you go. This town has the ability to be something special and something unique, and we can't let fear and ignorance block that. So that's just my opinion. This town is magical if you let it be.
Okay. All right, next young lady standing up. Okay. Third row seat back there. Anybody want to speak on this subject?
Yes, sir. I'm Pastor Dave Kidwell. I've been in this area all my life. I've pastored for 40 years. Love Assembly of God, side of the bowling alley, and also Great Cave, People's Assembly of God Church. But my message is very short. I remember as a young boy, we come to Berkeley Springs, this place packed with people. I mean, shopping every Friday night, Saturday night, friendly town, good town. Now, almost nothing. And I ride up down through this town, it really makes my heart ache, simply for the route it's going. And it's not going in the route of God. And that's how I feel about it, because I don't see where anybody's really out there has a business that betters anybody other than a few of my friends. This here reading of wind chimes, not going to do a thing. It's just breeze blowing through the air. It's God's word that gives the love for you. And if you don't like God's word,
Hey, that's enough.
if you don't like God's word,
I do love
Okay,
God's
so
word.
V.
I didn't
Darren,
say.
is V. Darren okay?
am I saying?
Please don't put your
Anyhow,
Order.
I'm sure
I
it is
love
your
God's
opinion.
word,
I
and
understand
I know
that,
what
sir.
it says.
Who is
But
God
we're
to
not
you?
going to have you or anybody else in here
That's
saying
why this
stuff
town
against
is
other people.
dying.
We are all people.
This town's dying.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I lived in Hancock, and I'm telling you, every Friday and Saturday night was on fire over there
It's
too.
dead over there too.
So I just want to tell you that.
Yeah.
So we're doing the best we can in the times we have, but we don't need to come after people. If you love God, then we need to love everybody. Okay?
That's why I love to get you saved.
I am saved,
Get right with God
you know.
and ask Him to forgive you your sins. Then you are okay.
My dad was a Methodist minister in this
Well,
town.
that's okay with me. I grew up Methodist.
But I'm just
That's
telling you.
fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
This town's dying.
Next. We
Because you're
understand.
a-
Hey,
Johnny,
please.
not
All right. Next in line.
Okay.
I believe everybody has the right to live what they want to live. But I just don't think that forcing their beliefs on someone else that is right. We don't try to force our beliefs on them. I mean, she's already said that this is, people love to come to this town. So why do you need anything more than that?
Sure.
I do have a petition. I'd like to read it. The non-discrimination protection ordinance. Whereas there are businesses in town owned by the LGBTQ community, whereas the assistant principal at the high school is openly gay, whereas the counselor at the high school is a biological male that wants to be referred to as her, she, and miss, whereas the teacher at the middle school is asking the students what pronoun they want to be referred to, we the people find no discrimination and there find no need for a non-discrimination protection ordinance. If anybody would like to sign this, see me afterwards.
What's your name, please?
Rita Hall.
All right. Thank you. Next.
I just have a question. If this ordinance is in draft form and not finalized, isn't the money being spent on the attorney a waste until it is finalized?
No. We have to have our attorney let us know what the law is. We have to have representation because we don't want to pass something that is against our Constitution or anything else. So we have to have, I'm not an attorney. none of us on this council are attorneys. So we go to our attorney when we have a situation like this so that we know that we our legal rights as this council.
We take all ordinances to our attorney. So
Right, but if this is draft, what if the final changes completely? Now,
That's
now
what
you've
it's
got a whole nother, then you have to pay the attorney even more to look at
It's
the
in his
final.
hands to look at it, to tell us whether the ordinance is right or not. He could say, hey, this isn't a good ordinance, and it dies. Because we go by the advice of our attorney. So, so we send all our ordinances until they're passed are in draft form. Okay? Now, he may tweak this or tweak that of other ordinances so that they're legal and binding with the state. Okay? That's why we go to our attorney, so that he can have the right verbiage in there. He's looking at it, and he's going to give us, some counsel on, yes, is this a good ordinance that we need to pass for the town of Bath, or is this an ordinance that is already covered by certain laws? Okay? So you got to understand, we have to send this over to our attorney. We can't up here and take this ordinance and say, okay, we're going to pass it of our own free will. We have to have legal representation. So that's why it's in draft form, because it's not been passed into.
it was given, we gave it to him as it was given to us. So we didn't cook any of this up.
Right, yeah.
Right, my only point is, okay, let's say it's reviewed and it's not good the way it stands. Then another ordinance is submitted, then another one about the same issue. I mean, can that bankrupt the town?
May I speak to that as somebody who has worked with the ordinance committee? I'm on the Town of Bath Tree Board. We were advised by an outside agency, the Arbor Day Foundation, that the Town of Bath Tree Board ordinance, which was passed in 2009, was inadequate to what the town is doing now. The tree board looked at various drafts, came up with what we thought was reasonable, met with the ordinance committee who made other suggestions. We were almost at the end when it was sent to the attorney, who said he had questions about this, that, and whatever. And we changed those things so that we would be in compliance with West Virginia law. And we wanted to make certain that how we stated issues was within West Virginia law, and the consequences were within violating these, were within West Virginia law. So even though the issues are completely different, I see the process as being exactly the same. And the tree board worked on its ordinance for probably 9 months, and I don't think there's anything, I don't think, everybody loves trees. There's no moral issue to trees, and yet it took 9 months because the town and the tree board, the ordinance committee, wanted to do it right. And so I can offer up that experience as confirmation that the town does things in a reasonable, rational, legal way.
I appreciate that, because we try our best.
We do.
All right.
Literally was glad. Thank you for saying that. It's what I was actually sensing. Paul Johansson owned a few businesses in town, barely visible. Reflect what a few of you were saying. What I'm hearing is a disconnect on not having information and not understanding what matters to some of your neighbors. And it's literally as simple as that. So not having it, I don't know something. It's like walking into a discussion halfway through and filling in the blanks myself. So my invitation to anyone that's got questions is sit down with the person that you think can teach you the most. What's the ordinance about? Why does this matter to you? Why does it bother you? And just listen to it. We probably won't, or we may agree. I don't know. But I appreciate, thank you, what you just said, is that you guys are in process. This could take months. And I almost apologize for walking into your living room and saying, hey, I heard something about something you did last month that I don't know anything about, but I'm afraid. So, and I hear you. Thank you for taking it with grace. So I'm hoping the fear, tension, which isn't just in this room, it's all over the country, is something we can each take a little step on. Not a big step, but a little step and go, why does this matter to you? And I will do that. So thank you. I believe Scott has some answers to some of the questions that have come up.
Teresa?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Scott, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we gotta do this in form.
I'm Scott Collinash. I'm the one that proposed that ordinance. And some of you people are going out to the council and they're not doing it, done nothing wrong. We gave them an ordinance of an example from other places, towns. And they can make any change they want to. The ordinance itself, I did a couple of reasons. First of all, I would never do anything. I love Berkeley Springs. I want to do the best with Berkeley Springs. My intentions is just not for a gay ordinance. This is for everyone. It has a line of people that the Fed and the state ordinance don't have in them. Disability, everything. The ordinance, I would think it would have to be redone so that I want the businesses to be protected too. I'm probably one of the few people in town. Pride, when we do our picnic, we make sure people go downtown and shop in the stores. I love the stores downtown. I want nothing happen to them. So I agree, and I agree with some of the stuff you said. I agree with some of the Patrick said too. The town is dying because people are dying. We are losing our people. I mean, this past year, I know like 10 people in town who passed away. They went to country inn. 8 tourists who come in regularly passed away. Well, we need to get in new people. And those new people are the millennials, the Gen Zs, and the new one, Gen Alpha. And if you know what LinkedIn is, it's a group where they look at. They said that Alpha will be seeking diverse and non-discriminating places to visit. And how they get that information? The media. So if we pass this ordinance and post it at different places, they're going to see it. They're going to come to these places. If they don't see it, they don't make changes. They're not coming back. I have resources I can show you if that happens. Back in 1776, people fought for us to be a tourist town. And it took amendment after amendment to make it, but it happened. We can't let our tourism die. And I feel we are. And now I think the towns are wonderful. I think, do I agree with everything? No, but big deal. I'm not one visiting. So if you want to buy it, that's okay. So I want the business to work. And I don't think that the council is doing enough. It's not the chamber and TBS's job to do everything in this town. I was told that you have people to represent. You do, but you have a whole town of small businesses to help too. You passed, raise the tax on meters. We raised the tax on Airbnbs. We put a 1% tax on these businesses for more people, but we're not doing anything to get people in. So that ordinance, if you post it on TBS and they know those people, not just gay people, but anyone, any minority would say, we can come there. And with the stuff that's going on with VDARE and the castle that's being all through the website, we need some positive in this.
Thank you, Scott. All right, next. Anybody else who's back there standing up? All right, anybody else?
I may come up to the front to address the room. Hello, everybody. I'm Otis Carter. I'm 23, born and raised here in Berkeley Springs. A little bit more about myself. I'm one of the 2 owners of the Bugman. I started with my dad 5 years ago. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce at 23 years old. And next fall, pending any better offers, I'll be a student at Yale University's Law School. Wow. I have a few things to say here regarding this ordinance, which I've seen and read and talked to multiple people in the council about. But before I do that and invite you into a little thought exercise, I want to address a couple of points I heard today. The first being about protections. So under state law in West Virginia and federal law, any business with less than 12 employees isn't prohibited from discrimination. There's Title VII. Title VII applies to sex, to race, to religion, and to one other category, not sexual orientation. So in town, that's the country and CMB, the larger businesses that under state law can't discriminate, right? But the smaller businesses are. And Curtis, my earlier days riding the bus with you on the radio, great, some of the best times of my childhood in school here. And I'm sorry to hear that you've had to deal with people threatening you at church. I went to church here in town. There's also protections in this ordinance for religious discrimination, for people pointing fingers and saying, you're Jewish, you can't come here, you can't eat here. You're Christian, you're Catholic, you can't come here. The whole point of a protection is hoping that it doesn't have to be used, right? So we've heard in the past 5 years, there's no cases of discrimination here. That might be the case, but the goal here is that if it, God forbid, ever becomes the case, that there's some kind of legal protection or recourse that these individuals can seek for the harm that's been done to them. And now, if I may, even if I go a little bit over time, I have 1 minute, 20 seconds, so bear with me. I'm going to invite you into a thought exercise with me, okay? As a queer man, as someone who had to come out as gay, and who struggles to come back home and stay here because of that, I want to invite you to think through something with me. So imagine yourself walking down the streets of Berkeley Springs, holding the hand of your wife, your husband, whatever, right? You're happy, you're able to do what you want to do without having to look over your shoulder, right? You can sit down at Terry's and eat dinner without having to think and deal with people staring at you because you're sitting at a 2-person table across from someone of the same sex, and maybe you're dressed with a button-up shirt that's halfway open. There are differences in that experience, and so I invite you all, when you think about the groups that this ordinance is meant to protect, to think about those people's experiences and what it means for them to feel welcome and included here. I just went to Lewisburg, voted the coolest small town in America. I have qualms with that. I think Berkeley Springs by far takes the cake. 2 weekends ago with my partner for medical conference that he was presenting at. I talked to Greg about this. I would have loved to stay at the historic inn down in Lewisburg that was recommended to us, but we didn't feel safe because we didn't know the owners of the inn and whether or not they'd be welcoming. So instead we opted for an Airbnb where we didn't have to see someone to check in. If I may just finish 2 sentences. These are things that people like me consider on a daily basis that others in different positions and same or heterosexual relationships don't have to think about. And so I just encourage you all to think about that. This isn't telling you, what are the words here? I'm sorry. This is telling you just, you can't treat them differently. And if you're not treating them differently, this isn't going to affect you or your business. Thank you.
I don't think you finished your point on the 12 or more employees.
Mm-hmm.
But can you finish that point?
Right. Under West Virginia state law, businesses with less than 12 employees aren't. The non-discrimination protections in West Virginia state law only apply to businesses with 12 or more employees. So if a business has less than 12 employees, they are allowed to discriminate on the basis of things like sexual orientation because it's not protected federally. It's not included in Title VII.
But just to clarify, when you and I, we had long conversations on this very specific topic. When I read through the ordinances that have been approved in Bolivar and Harper's Ferry and most of the other cities, they did not change that in the ordinances. They kept it at 12 employees.
I don't think that's the case for the ordinance that I've seen. If you have a copy, I'd love to see it. Sit down and talk with you.
We'll follow up on that. Okay.
Just clarification, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's webpage states that, and I'll read it off the webpage, and this refers to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The law, the Civil Rights Act, forbids sexual orientation and gender identity discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoff, training, fringe benefits, and any other term or condition of employment. That's on the EEOC webpage, and it's clarifying a Supreme Court decision of 2020 with respect to the Civil Rights Act.
All right, let's keep moving. Anybody else in the back?
I just have a quick note. I have a shop with Fairfax Street. Lots of customers come through, say lots of things. I have plenty of LGBTQ customers come through. A lot of people say they're surprised with how safe and welcoming our town feels. I also have people who say that they've been coming for years, staying in a cabin in the woods and not coming into town because they're afraid they haven't seen that they would be welcomed. We have not fully plenty of people don't feel welcome here who should. They are welcome. Something like this lets them know they're protected here. There are so many small towns people can choose to visit. They need to know they're safe visiting us as they are visiting Frederick, as they are visiting any other small town. It's a simple thing. It doesn't say anybody's unwelcome. It just says, you guys are definitely welcome. For whatever reason, I just think that it seems like a really nice thing as a human being to just say, yeah, everybody's welcome here. I just don't really understand why we're scared to say that.
I think
Or
it's
what
already
negative repercussions we think that not being welcoming would have.
No, that's not the aspect of what this town council wants. Maybe we need to get Travel Broken Springs, the chamber, to show a little bit more on how we can be more accepting to people coming in to our community. Yeah, and like I said, I've not had one person come up to me and said they don't feel welcome. I mean, we try to all be good people for the community. We got a lot of people here that are men and women of God, and other people that are in a different realm of their life. And, we all have to respect each other's, and everybody that is here and on our streets. Just because you got a different sexual orientation or whatever doesn't mean that you're not welcome.
Sure.
But it's not the point of the ordinance, just to make sure that
Right.
we say it out loud, like,
Right.
any gender, any
And
queer,
every
trans,
business can do that. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Everybody's had their time to speak. We're going to wrap this up and go from there. So thank you all very much. And we are doing our due diligence. It'll be on our website so that you can read it. And hopefully we can come to some type of compromise with this whole situation to make everybody happy. Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much.
Please don't. What you did was disgusting.
Hey, Tony, no! What did I just say?
Don't get upset with her.
He assaulted her. He needs to go. He needs to go.
All right, let's continue this meeting.
Thank you for bumping everyone up. That was a practical.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, communications from mayor. The garbage crew is going to have a training next week on the 25th. So we are moving our garbage pickup, which would be on Wednesday, to Tuesday. Okay. The Wednesday, the 25th is when they're going on training, right?
They're going on Wednesday, and they will also pick up on Thursday.
Right.
So
Right.
if you miss Tuesday, they'll
You
get it on Thursday.
So anyway, planning at the depot on Thursday the 19th from 3 p.m. to 4:30. Oh my gosh, we got a color copy.
Oh no.
All right.
So far, I've had 13 volunteers helping, and we can still use more. And we'll be planting on the Hoogles, like you said, on the 19th and the 21st.
And
Right.
and we
are
the tree board.
We are the people who are remediating the depot lot, which
And
is the town of
of
Bath and Warm Springs Watershed Association.
I just want to make sure I get.
All right. All right, so that's all I have from communications and mayor. Let's move on to Bath Development. There isn't anybody here from Bath Development. Next meeting is October the 2nd, 4:30 to courthouse. Parks and Recs. Nobody here. They're next.
May I make a comment on behalf of Parks and Rec?
Yes.
So I'm just going to call out that David Henry Memorial Park Parks and Recs is redoing them, doing a beautiful job. Basketball court looks wonderful. They've got new, the paving, new blacktop, or at least they painted it. New lines. The pickleball court looks fantastic. There's actually going to be 4 pickleball courts down there. And they now started to work around the volleyball, court. So they're not redoing the volleyball court. I know somebody who's doing that. But what they are doing is taking all of those, I guess those railroad ties, and they're building a new perimeter. So that area is now starting to really look nice. And hopefully I'm going to be pressing their buttons to see if we can't do something for the kids where basically we have a big old pavement and an old basketball court. I'd love to see something for the little ones out there. I believe on Sunday is when they're having the reopening. I believe that's this Sunday, and I think, you can correct me, but I think it's around 5 o'clock that they're having the, basically they're gonna have food and festive things, so it's gonna be their reopening.
And if you haven't been by there, I drove by after the last meeting when Matt talked about it. It really looks good. They have done a lot of work. It's in your neighborhood. You've seen it.
I looked out my window and it was beautiful. It's
Good deal. All right, good. Planning Commission, Larry ain't here tonight. Streetscapes and rail trails.
Right. Start with rail trail. I am trying, you've got something to be on the website. I'm trying to see what I can find out from Mark Schoolboard as to who's actually in charge and what kind of a plan they have. Gary Gorelli was pulling the strings down there. He's no longer doing that.
He's not pulling strings?
Not for that project.
Oh.
So I don't know if he's retired or not, but a lot of people have retired.
Huh.
There's a lot of holes in cheese. So I'll try, the next meeting would be next Wednesday, and what I'll try to do is see what I can fish out from them. Because right now we're coasting. No engine.
That's
That's
a
not a
nice
good
way
way
to
to
put
go.
it.
No
Yeah,
engine.
nice way to
Possibly with brakes. All right, on Streetscape, we did get a contract award for Phase 5 on the 27th of August. We got the numbers in there. And because of, again, just not enough workers in District 5 for what needs to be done, we're going to end up doing a virtual pre-construction conference. This is coming Thursday. We're going to set up something in here. The District 5, SJP Burns, who helped us with Streetscape Phase 4, is apparently going to be running that. It's unfortunate because we really want the contractor to be in town. This is where we're going to arm wrestle what happens during apple butter. And we've got set up to get the chamber and travel work strings people in on it. I've warned District 5 that this is coming. I've told them what the dates are. I've told them what the problems are. And we've asked to get the contractor in town sometime, even if it's just with us. And I will try to at some point talk to them. Their business is about an hour from here, and by road. And they're the First Fruits excavating company from Ridgely, West Virginia. Interesting. We've actually found them. So that's what's going on. We're marching to time to get the design started for Phase 6. Down on the state park project that won't ever seem to go away, we finished everything we were supposed to do for the consent order. The fine was paid. The draft corrective action plan was submitted all in time. I haven't heard anything. And at Susan's request, they sent the entire lexicon of every step we did and every product we did over to Dan James at the county, because we finally found out what the heck happened with the fish kill.
Oh, yeah.
And with the fish kill, the county initially was assessed a fine in the 9,000 range. Ours was in the 4,100 range. It's been reduced, but it isn't necessarily finished. So Susan, Dan wanted to know, what did you guys do? So I gave them the whole thing, all the
Dan's
files.
prosecuting attorney.
He's the prosecutor.
Do they have a consent order as well?
Yes, they have a consent order.
Well, who killed the fish?
The guy who was power washing the outside of the
Well, then why did
courthouse.
we get fined?
Well, we got fined very little compared to them.
I know.
Well, but there's,
Because we raised
there is,
the town at the time,
There's-
and they just didn't like the way we raised it.
there's also, from what I know, there's a sticky thing about the contractor used a product that he should never have used. It actually said, don't use this here.
For heaven's
A little
sakes.
bit, that's a smoking gun.
Yeah.
So no wonder they got it. So they're handling it obviously through their legal staff.
Right.
You unfortunately got your engineering staff.
I know, our engineering staff, there he stands. No, but
Yeah.
you're it.
All right, that's it.
Okay, any questions?
All right.
Thank you,
I
Pete.
gotta run, thanks.
Appreciate it, see you later. Okay, train depot.
Oh, yeah, that thing, okay. Just want to let you all know that we have not received the, comments back from, Travel Berkeley Springs. We met with them, 2 or 3 weeks ago and went over some points. It's being written. I have talked with a couple members of the depot committee. They're thrilled that TPS wants to be in there. And, you know, our commitment in the beginning in putting that committee back together was, what are we going to do with the building? Now we're hoping we have that solved. And so our focus will be on things like historic interpretive signage around the building, the lighting outside, bathrooms, you know, assisting the rail trail. So we're going to keep on working. We are going to be parking cars, me and Rebecca, parking cars at the depot for Apple Butter Festival again. We will arrange I guess, painting of the lines and like that coming up, because we're very methodical how we do it, and we're gonna make sure it's done correctly, so you
We're
get maximizing and methodical. So, we're doing that. The other thing, and anybody wants to volunteer, it's tons of fun. You get first and last eyes on apple butter folks that come to visit us. So you get to see the before and the after. So it's a lot of fun. Also, this weekend is the last weekend for Miss Isabella and her traveling companion show at the depot, 7:30 each night. It is worth it. It is a donation, offering suggested $15. It's worth it, and it's cool to see something like that happening in the depot, and hopefully more things like that will happen. But I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you. Landmarks Commission, they're not here. Clerk and Recorder's Report, Madam Clerk.
The thing I have is the West Virginia State Auditors Training is held on October the 1st. It's an all-day training for the clerks, and then they have one also on the 2nd for council. Because of that, both Brianna and I are attending that. So we were asking that maybe we could move the council meeting to the 8th and the 22nd, because we have 5 weeks in the month of October. Otherwise, you're on your own for getting your documentation together.
Okay, what are you doing again?
Are you doing both days?
No, just the first.
You're doing Tuesday the 1st.
Yes.
Which is an evening, or no, it's an all-day meeting.
It's an all day, yes.
Yeah,
They won't
and
be able to
then,
get the packet prepared
Right.
for us.
and then for council members,
Is the second.
the 2nd, but you have to have your registration in by the 27th.
Of this month.
Yes.
Not next month.
It's a good class for council to
They, you
attend.
might like it.
It is a
I
good
think
class.
you'll
A lot of
enjoy it.
numbers and graphs.
A lot of graphs and numbers and laws.
Ooh.
I know, it's right.
All right,
I will not be
okay.
there.
What does council feel about moving that meeting to the following Tuesday, the 8th?
So that means we have a bye week right now coming up.
Yeah,
Take it.
that'll make
We
you
love our
happy.
bye weeks.
So the
If I
8th, we'll
love
do the 8th and the
Later
22nd,
room.
right?
Yes.
The 8th and the 22nd,
That's the
so
type of thing.
everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right, we'll do the 8th and the
We need to
22nd.
make a motion. I move that we move our council meetings during the month of October to the 2nd and 4th week.
Do
Eighth and the 22nd.
it. 8th and
Second.
22nd. Okay, we have a motion second on the floor.
Who's that?
He did. To move our monthly meetings to the 8th and the 22nd of October. Any discussion?
Yes. I don't think it's a big issue, but when is apple butter?
It's in between. It's
Yeah,
the-
apple
middle
butter's
week.
gonna be the 11th and 12th of that
12th.
weekend.
So it shouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't interfere with
And
it.
Thursday.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I asked too, when we were talking about it.
And then the
So,
holiday is
um,
the 14th. The federal holiday is on the 14th, so we miss it.
Yep. All right, any more discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. All right. Anything else, Madam Clerk?
You have in your packet a building permit acknowledgement. It's for 160 North Washington Street. It's where they're putting the golf simulator in.
It's a little outside putting area, looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is good.
It's actually,
Are they building the building?
No,
It's just gonna be,
it's a
okay.
little temporary. It almost looks like a little putting green.
Okay,
Kind of laid
that's
out on the
fine.
side of the property. It's the old florist shop.
Yeah, I saw they poured concrete down there, so. Okay.
Is it gonna be a large structure, or I thought it was gonna be, from this, it looks like a large structure.
It's just, it's flat. It's not.
Committees too, finance.
It says additional frame.
Oh, they're adding a separate
Yeah.
back there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a simulator, so I assume they want an enclosed building.
Oh, so you-
Simulator.
Why
So
is
you-
it-
Yeah,
it's
it's-
just putting,
If that's the
it's-
case, we need
It's
to
not
sign
like
it
golf.
over because it may.
I've already sent it
Oh,
to.
we already
It's
sent it.
already gone.
Okay.
Good.
It's just for your
Okay.
FYI.
Good deal.
Now they just cover that.
Right.
That
used to be the old floor.
Yeah, the old florist shop, I saw that they opened up and so. Okay, well, it's already over there, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do you have a
Okay.
report?
Yes, I make a motion that we pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $29,422.30.
Second. Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $29,422.30. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $24.75.
Second.
Okay, a motion second to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $24.75. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the North Berkeley Rail Trail bills in the amount of $2,779.17. Second.
A motion second on the floor to pay the North Berkeley Rail Trail bills in the amount of $2,077,917. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $124,417.51.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs water bills in the amount of $124,417.51. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make the motion that we make the hotel motel, make the hotel motel fund distribution in the amount of $605.25.
Second.
A motion second on the floor to pay the hotel motel fund distribution in the amount of $605.25. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay. Anything else for finance?
No, that's it.
Okay, we paid the bills. Tree board?
The Haven Institute runs a program twice a year where they make trees available, large trees available to residents of the 5 Potomac Basin counties at a much reduced price. Both Warm Springs Run and Sleepy Creek Watershed Associations participated in this program this year. Most of the people who ordered trees from Warm Springs Watershed Association are affected by the bypass. When they never know when the truck is arriving. And I heard on Saturday that it's arriving on, I think it's Tuesday, the 24th. Is it 24th? No, it's the 24th, whatever day of the week that is. And usually we have to go to Great Cacapen to pick up the trees, but since there are so many that are for Sleepy Creek and Warm Springs, I was wondering if we could park the truck in the depot, probably for an hour, and during that time, probably 7 to 10 vehicles would pick up their trees and take them to their homes. I know
I've got no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah,
What the
that's
heck?
easy.
It's fine now. I'm thinking.
No,
It's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the tree board is meeting tomorrow.
All right. Grant, is Mary still in there or not?
She's still there. She's sleeping.
Mary there?
All right. I don't have a whole lot for Grant, so I know she's still working on things. Public safety. You have anything to speak about?
I do. I just wanted to bring up that the DEA National Prescription Take Back is happening on October 26th here at the town hall in the parking lot. It's Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Chief Carter will be there, and it's in partnership with Play for Drugs.
All right.
Get the word out.
We've got some things coming up for public safety, so as we move along, council will be aware of everything going on, so. Okay. Cemetery?
Mowing's done for the season. We are now focusing our efforts on getting the General Barstow education sign completed and installed. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right, Public Works?
We had a medical emergency last week, and I want to commend the Public Works staff for how composed and professional they were. And I was there, I witnessed it, and they're a great group of guys.
Good.
And they're really team players, and they kept level heads, and everything's all right now.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, thanks, Rebecca. Ordinance?
Ordinance, it was a quiet week for ordinance.
But I did need that laugh.
I really look forward to next week and Thursday, as a matter of fact.
I think we took a little edge off of Thursday.
I don't.
I think we'll have a whole new crew in on
Oh,
Thursday.
geez.
The municipal sales tax that we talked about is right on time for January to be imposed. We're doing a handoff, and Dave is going to be handling and working with the Department of Taxation as far as the GIS boundary surveys concerns. We have an accurate town.
You said Dave's from before?
Yeah, for that data piece. That's a data piece, so I'm turning all data over to Dave. And the water tariff, of course, has been completed. Everything the ordinance need to do as a part of that. And Dave has some other information as it relates to the water on that. Other than that,
We're quiet.
it's fine.
Thank you all. Waterworks.
Waterworks. So I thought everybody was here to celebrate the fact that the tariff is just about passed, the tariff increase. That's been handed off to the Office of Executive Secretary, and basically it's made it through the legal process, and what they're saying is there's nothing wrong at this point. So I'm expecting, basically, we're going to have approval to have the rate increase as of October 1st. And I only wanted to bring out the expense that we just got done passing, and I did say that I wanted to be able to comment on it. And we had $124,000 this month in the bill. Half of that, about 60-some thousand, was something that was moved from repair and replacement, which never really showed itself in our approval process because it just simply has a different process. By putting it into the operations and maintenance, it's now become more transparent. So it's the process of everybody knowing what's been paid for. The $60,000 is the amount of money that we spend to do our tank maintenance. We have, I think, 5 water tanks. So it's an expensive process. We pay an annual subscription for somebody to come in and take care of them. So the $60,000 bill deals with all 5 tanks. Something that we may want to do better cost control in the future by making that in-house, but $60,000 kind of should tell you what it would require to bring that in-house. But it basically now shows up in our regular budget. That's been part of the trying to get a handle on the budgeting process and getting better transparency.
Thank you,
That's
Dave.
my report.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're to the end of the meeting. I just want to make a small announcement. The Presbyterian Church here in town, we were talking about, people who've been in town for a while. They're celebrating their 150th year here in the town of Bath. So in your packets, there is a thing here about it. I just wanted to make that announcement that we've got a church that's 160 years old. So awesome. Okay, we've come to the point in this meeting. Is there anything else that you want to bring up before we get rid of this night? Anything at all?
So on the church, do we want to make some kind of proclamation and send it over for you?
We've never really done that. We've just acknowledged to them.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to go to their information in there on their church service, I guess they're going to be dedicating at that period 150. So
It's a beautiful little church.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Like a little sugar box.
okay. Well, if there is nothing else to come before council, I would take a common consent to adjourn.
So moved.
Is that the video there?